Hello and welcome to our newest pad video. So today we're making a video that's very vehicle specific for a very good client of ours. This is a 2011, we're working on a 2011 Audi S5. So vehicle was brought in to us because of a fault code stored within the transmission control module. There just so happens to be a technical service bulletin that addresses that code in particular, and we just want to put on video for our client to show exactly what all's involved with making the repair as per Audi's technical service bulletin. So if we come in right here, this is a TSB. It is for fault code P17D8, 17D8. That's the fault code that's stored in the transmission control module. It is not stored in the engine control module, just transmission only. Torque limitation because of clutch temperature, right? So that's our fault code, P17D8, stored in the transmission control module. Okay, so what is Audi say the fix for that is? Well, the fix for it is to replace the circuit boards within the Mechatronic control unit. So what is Audi calling a Mechatronic? Well, old school guys may just call it a valve body. So it's a newly advanced transmission. But this as a whole is what we consider the Mechatronic unit. This is removed from the car, from the transmission. We're going to show you that in a moment. We'll show you the car, the transmission exposed. So this is our Mechatronic unit as a whole. This is, if you look on this side, this is one circuit board here with a connector. There's a circuit board. Here's a second connector, and it wraps around to this large circuit board. Well, these are the ones that we've removed. The new ones are already installed. These are the old ones. You can see each one of these terminal contacts with the connector. Large one sits right there, bolted down. Smaller one sits right here, bolted down. All right, so now we have the new ones installed. They came from a local Audi dealership. Now, once these are all installed, be very careful with the connectors here that you do not break the connector points or the lock points right here. Be very fragile with those. Also, when going to install this Mechatronic unit, it's also very heavy. So be very careful when installing it as well. But right here you can see these, what I would refer to as maybe a shift solenoid. But each one of these, they will free float when the Mechatronic unit is out. These move in and out, and they also twist left and right. So each one of these arms, and we'll show you how they correspond with what's remaining in the car, they have to be set to a predetermined distance. This arm, I believe, is 28 millimeters out, 28 millimeters, 28, 28. But you can see how these have to be vertical or straight up and down, and we'll show you how they correspond with the shift linkage in the transmission in the car. There's also a couple oil pipes with seals as we install it back into the car that slide into here, and there's also 3 pipes here that have to line up. So there's when going back into the car with this Mechatronic unit, a lot has to line up. These 3 seals, these 2 seals, these 4 shift arms, this pin here, all have to line up when going back into the transmission. So we have to be very careful that we don't damage anything going back in, and that everything is seated properly when going back into the car. Now, this is the transmission filter that was removed from the car, and this is the pan that comes from the car, transmission fluid pan. You can see the fluid is very clear, a little bit of amber tint to it, which is as it should be, but the fluid looks good. We don't have any metal shavings, any debris of any type to be concerned about in the transmission pan. We do have a new pan gasket that will be going back in, and this is the fluid that the transmission calls for us, the G052529A2. That is the transmission fluid that we will put back into this transmission as well. So just for example, here's a container of some transmission fluid that we put in a water bottle. You can see how it's got an amber tint to it, but that is new fluid. So we're going to get this back in the car, but before we do that, I want to take you over to the car so you can see the Mechatronic removed. All right, so now we're under the car. We've got the pan removed, and I just want to show you what all we have to connect when placing this Mechatronic unit back inside the transmission. So pan is removed. You can see here's the 3 pipes here that have to line up. 1, 2, 3 that correspond to the Mechatronic unit. Here's 2 more pipes that have to line up that correspond to that Mechatronic unit. And here are the shift linkage arms that I like to call them shift linkage arms. And there's 4 of them. And those are where the metal hooks have to line up, and they go inside of each one of these arms, inside the hole right there, the corresponding. And there's 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're way up in there. Has to be right. If not, all of it's got to come back down and be removed, readjusted, reinstalled. So first time is very important. But we'll get that Mechatronic unit back installed. We'll verify maybe with a bore scope that everything is lined up as it should be. We'll fill it full of oil. We'll clear the fault codes, going down the road with it, verify our repair. But anyway, we hope this vehicle was helpful. We hope that this helps maybe those DIYers out there, but also our client. And hopefully you guys, if you have any questions, put it in the comments, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching another pad video.